Hello everybody, Green Man Bookseller here, and I'm doing a book review video in which I'm going to be reviewing this book here, Old Wounds, New Monsters by Logan-Ashley Kisner. I think I've pronounced it right, hopefully. This is a book, it's a debut novel by Logan-Ashley, and it's set in America, like the United States, and it's a couple of transgender teens. So one's male to female transgendering and one's female to male transgendering, and it's a story about them. They're making their journey to California to sort of have the operations to sort of fully transform from one gender to the other. And on their journey, they end up getting stranded in rural, and where is it? Rural Kentucky. And there's some creepy woods where there's a creature, and the locals, like the local residents near this wood, they sacrifice females, sort of young females, to this creature, and they obviously grab these two kids, and they're gonna sort of sacrifice them, one of the female to the creature, and obviously sort of, because these locals at first, they don't realise it's two transgender kids, so they grab the one that's a male that's going to be transferring to female because they think that's the female. Now, this is a kind of story, that kind of book I don't normally read. Now, the reason I got this book is it's an Usborne book. Usborne do like sort of books for children, young teens. My wife, she's an Usborne partner selling Usborne books, and I can't remember why, but she said to me, "Oh, why did you get this book, Dave?" I can't remember why she recommended it to me, so I thought, well, I'll buy it. It's something completely different to what I read, and I thought it could be quite interesting. Sort of this story about a monster, a creature that has you have to sacrifice females to it, and then all of a sudden you've got these sort of a transgender couple, like two transgender teens, kind of thrown into the mix, for want of a better way of putting it. I was thinking it could be quite interesting, sort of the whole sort of these sort of creatures that have to be sort of fed females, sort of how do sort of transgender people sort of affect the whole thing, for want of a better way of putting it. I must admit, this story didn't quite go in the direction I thought it was going to go in. It wasn't, the creature didn't feature quite as much in the story as I thought it was going to feature. And the story did focus a lot more on the struggles that sort of transgenders and like transgender teens go through, the kind of sort of issues that the societal sort of preconceptions, societal prejudices, for want of a better way of putting it. Sort of, it looks into the whole how sort of transgender teens have to sort of deal with the struggles of finding their true identity, the struggles of prejudice, dealing with prejudice, and all that kind of thing. So there's a lot more of that being dealt with in the story than I initially thought there was going to be, and a lot not as much with the whole sort of transgender sort of how does transgender people sort of fall into mix of sort of being up against a creature that goes for like sort of females, if that makes sense. So now, as the story's going along, and I sort of realised it was going in a different direction it was going to go in, I was thinking, am I going to enjoy this? The reason being, because I was thinking it was going to be dealing more with how does a creature that traditionally feeds on sort of females cope with transgenderism. I thought that's going to be an interesting take on the whole sort of like concept, like creature concept, and it's so I was looking forward to that. So to suddenly for it to go off on track, I thought, okay, I've got to switch the way I'm looking at this book. You know, I'm not going to get what I thought I was going to get. So, but having said all that, it was still quite an interesting read. I still, once I sort of got on board with the direction that the story was actually going in, you know, I managed to get on board with the story a lot more. Because there was that point where I initially thought, okay, it's going in a different direction. Well, can I get on board with it? But am I going to enjoy it? But yeah, I quickly changed the way I was looking at it, and yeah, it's kind of opened my eyes a bit to sort of how sort of like transgenders have to deal with stuff. Because obviously this was written from the transgender point of view, and because I mean I've never really met any transgender people, so it's kind of not a part of my everyday life. So I've never really thought about it much. So it was kind of it was quite an interesting little read from that point of view, and yeah, it was quite good. So I kind of enjoyed it. So not a bad little read, not a bad little read. I mean, there is another. I did get a second book. I think it's by the same author. I think it's a follow-on from this book. So I'm going to read that book as well. But I mean, would I read any more books sort of in this genre? I'm not sure, because it is so completely different to what I normally read. I mean, I might do. I mean, this was good enough to keep me entertained until the end. You know, yeah. I mean, it didn't grip me enough for me to say I'm going to carry on reading more books in this genre. But I'm not going to definitely say I'm going to be doing that. But I might read some more books like this. So yeah. But anyway, my views on this, not a bad little book. So yeah. Anyway, starting to waffle a bit towards the end there. Guys, thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. And in the meantime, stay safe. Happy reading.